Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Emma, and we are in the final stretch, the last leg, if you will, of my lip collection Swatch Declutter series. We are in dark purples and vampy colors. So let's just be honest, staining is absolutely going to be a thing. So let's dive in. Light is kind of interesting. I've made a sort of makeshift light by leaning a lamp on a chair and putting a white t-shirt in front of it. Oh yes, we are professional here, but let me know how this does. I keep getting distracted by this awesome highlighter. If you're interested in what this is, you can check out my March favorites video, which I will have around. Also, it's the Wet n Wild limited edition highlighters, in case you don't want to watch that. Okay, that has nothing to do with this video, so let's dive in. The first color we're going in with is this NYX Intense Butter Gloss. It's in the shade Spice Cake. So there is Spice Cake. I really prefer these kinds of colors to be shiny. Maybe it's because my lips are thinner, I don't know, but I really like the look of these darker colors in a gloss. Now this shade can bleed. If I wear it, I usually will either put it over a lipstick, which seems to help, or over a lip liner, which also keeps everything in check. But I love the shade. It's often a go-to in the fall. It's just that kind of shade. It does have, it's kind of the weirdest smelling of the NYX Butter glosses. It's a little bit more chemically than it is sweet, actually. But it, it doesn't really hang around. If it doesn't bother you, then it doesn't bother you. Next, we have a MegaLast lipstick. These have not done well in my keeping pile, I have to say. This is in the shade Vintage Vibe, and this is actually a limited edition shade that is, oh my god, exactly the same as Spice Cake. So. All right, I already disclaimed, because that's a word, right? That this was not going to be a neat application, but you can see the shade. And I actually, even though they look very similar in the swatch, I feel like this one looks a little bit darker. And I actually, if I had to pick, well, we'll get to the declutter afterwards, but I love it. It looks kind of 20s to me. Vintage. Get it? Next, we have another Intense Butter Gloss from NYX. This one is in the shade Black Cherry Tart. So obviously this is a much darker, vampier color than the previous two. I love that kind of color. It's probably second, the next rung down after kind of hot pink berry family is this. All right, moving on. Milani Matte Flirty. So this is a little bit more red. Still that kind of deeper, darker color. Comfortable. I feel like it's a little bit drier than the other matte Milani lipsticks, which feel very cushiony. This does a little bit, but it also feels it feels like a mix between a different Milani matte and a MegaLast from Wet n Wild. So it has a little bit of that dryness and drag of a MegaLast lipstick with a little bit of that cushioniness of the Milani. But as with all of the Milani, they feel very comfortable on the lips. It's pretty. Next up is a classic. It is a Wet n Wild MegaLast in the shade Cherry Bomb. So, not the neatest application, but this is one of my favorite shades. It is my go-to fall shade. I really love it. The next product I'm going to talk about, I often wear on top, and I love that look. this is just, it's a classic. So that other product I like to layer with Cherry Bomb is the NYX Butter Gloss. This is a regular butter gloss, not an intense. It's in the shade Devil's Food Cake. This also smells like Skittles. It's amazing. Except, of course, for the Skittles craving. It's the same deep, rich, reddy brown, but a little bit more sheer and glossy, of course. So I usually will pair these two. I will put this over top of Cherry Bomb because, like I said in the beginning, I really like a glossy finish on these darker colors. Alternatively, this would be a nice way to play with that sort of color if Cherry Bomb is a little intimidating, because it has that same richness, but it's a little more sheer. It wears very even on the lips and it doesn't bleed. It's obviously not going to last very long, but it is a really nice gloss. And it's a very, you know, the butter glosses, you've seen those, I think, in almost every category of this collection overview. And I just find them really comfortable. They smell great. They aren't that sticky. They don't feel heavy. It's not like you're, you know, I'm not talking and just kind of being very aware of this weight and kind of grossness on my lips as some glosses. As much as I love glosses, a lot of glosses can have that sort of feeling. So this doesn't. It's just, it's a pleasure to wear. Next up, we have a straight up purple. This is a NYX Simply Vamp Lip Cream Crayon. It's in the shade Temptress. This is one of those shades where I kind of like it. It's weird, but not so weird I couldn't walk out of the house, but weird enough that I don't reach for this color very much. I do kind of like it with this minimal makeup look. And I'm also wondering, I would like to make some videos where I let myself just kind of play and go crazy and make something completely not wearable. And I have a lot of purple stuff, and so maybe I'll do like a purple themed crazy look. I don't know. You know, it's a kind of color that inspires me in that way, but it's also not making its way onto my face usually. So we'll see. I'd love to know your opinion of these kind of odd colors. I love it when I see somebody rocking a blue lip. It's amazing to me. But I find that I don't do that. Next up, we have my last Fergie lipstick from Wet n Wild. This is in Ferguson Crest Cabornet. Again, everything's kind of worn off. I think this is the color I have had the longest and used the most, and it's still got a ton of products left in it. So this seems to be a very similar shade to a few of these. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. But there it is. As I have said, I think in every video, because I believe these have shown up in every color category. I love this formula. It's my favorite formula that Wet n Wild has ever put out as far as I've been using them, or as long as I've been using them, as long as I've been using them, this is hands down, no contest, been my favorite. Long lasting. They're not super matte, so they're not very drying, but they stay on your lips. They're very comfortable. The colors were all gorgeous. Even the ones that didn't look good on me, I still love them. And really easy to apply, and they last forever. So, gotta love that. Well, you don't have to do anything, but I love that. All right, 2 more left. This next one was also one of the limited edition MegaLasts. I think this was 2015's fall collection. It's in the shade Coffee Buzz. This, I think, is as close to black lipstick I'm ever gonna get. It's very close, but it still has a little bit of a kind of berry ready undertone. I kind of do love it. I love this kind of dark color. I don't see myself ever wearing black lipstick. I don't think that would suit me, although I would try it. Last one. is beloved except for the shittiest packaging ever. This is a NYX High Voltage lipstick. It's in the shade Dahlia. The cap does not stay on very well. It's a similar color to Coffee Buzz, but a little bit more berry purpley. And I find I like this formula better because it's shinier. Love it. This with just a little bit of kind of a gold or a rose gold on the eyes. That is a kind of go-to look for me in the fall and winter. I love the shade, but I wish the packaging was better. Now, they do have, it's called, what is it? Full Throttle. Oh my God, I'm remembering. Full Throttle from NYX lipsticks. They are kind of new. They look exactly the same. They're in the same packaging. A lot of the names, the shade names are the same. So I think I am going to see if they have the same shade as this in that line. I am planning on going to Ulta the day when the Brow Wiz is half off and just stockpiling. Because as much as I want to love this freaking brow definer, I just don't. Going back to the Brow Wiz. Sorry about it. Anyway, I want to see if they have, I'm going to check this out too because I love this color. I love the formula, but the packaging is so awful. So here are the shades all swatched out. We can definitely cut this down. So let's go row by row. Does anybody remember that song? Inch by inch, row by row, we're going to make this garden grow. It's a kid's song. My mom made like a mixtape of kid songs and, you know, other songs that were kind of kid friendly that we used to listen to all the time. That just, so much nostalgia all of a sudden. Okay. I don't even know what that song was from, but listen to it a lot. All right, so this bottom row, we have NYX Intense Butter Gloss, Vintage Vibe, Wet n Wild MegaLast, Black Cherry Tart, NYX Intense Butter Gloss, and then Matte Flirty. Now I'm also going to include in this group the Fergie lipstick, which is right here because these are all very similar shades. Definitely going to keep Vintage Vibe. I love that one. And also the Fergie. That means I can easily declutter Spice Cake and Matte Flirty since they are pretty much the same shades. Black Cherry Tart I feel is different enough that I can keep that without shame, especially since it is a shade that I often reach for. So it's not a shade that I'm like, oh, I haven't used it in a while, so maybe I'll try it. Kind of like my red video. Okay, Cherry Bomb and Devil's Food Cake. Definitely staying in my collection. That is a standard. So the only other few, so the NYX High Voltage, I love this. I'm going to see if the other formula, how that compares. I'm going to keep this for now. I think I can get rid of Coffee Buzz. Even though it's a very similar shade, again, I prefer the sheen. I could throw a gloss over this, but I like the kind of more purpley color, even though it's very subtle. I like this one better. So I can let Coffee Buzz go. And then this, I don't know. But I feel like I want to keep it in my collection just to play with. But I also don't wear it very often. So NYX Simply Vamp, what shall we do with you? Here's what I'm gonna do. I do want to, I would like to do some crazy like just playtime makeup with a purple theme. So I think I will keep that for that, and after that I think I can let it go. So we can put that in the let it go pile for the moment. Instead of singing Frozen in my head, I'm singing a song from Hamilton that was cut out. All right, anybody Hamilton fanatics like myself? Let's talk about it. I've been really into the mixtape lately and listening to the original versions of songs or songs that got cut out I have had congratulations in my head for the past like 3 weeks, and I'm not even mad about it because it is so good, and I wish it was in the show. But now it's on the mixtape, and you can find it on YouTube. It's awesome. But please, let's talk Hamilton if you're into it, because I could just spend my entire life talking about how awesome it is. And also about how sad that I can never be in it because I cannot sing. It's so upsetting. But anyway, that has nothing to do with this video, and that is it. So I have, however, easily cut my collection in half, which I'm really happy with this whole experience. I have been able to whittle down dupes. I've been able to get rid of colors that really didn't suit me or I didn't really like. And my next quest is to find a way to store these lipsticks so that I can see them. I have limited space, but I'm gonna make it work. Now, obviously they're in a, well, now broken shoebox. I have another one that these can go in. But if you have any suggestions for, if you have any suggestions for lipstick storage, what do you do? Are your lipsticks put out in such a way so you can see all the colors, or do you kind of rotate, bring out a few that you can see, throw them in your purse or what have you, and keep the rest elsewhere? I'd really love to know, and if you have any tips, I would also love to know that. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching this video and any videos. I will have, of course, the playlist for my whole makeup collection linked below. If you want these lip ones to be in a separate playlist, just let me know. I can easily make that happen, but I figured I'd just put them all together with the rest of my makeup in case you wanted to watch that stuff also. But yes, thank you for existing. I appreciate you. And I will see you in the next one. Bye, guys.